Hey everybody, I'm Jordan at PDQ.com. Colby's off camera to correct all the mistakes I'm going to make today. We're going to talk about AppxPackages. Mostly how you can get Candy Crush back on your machine if you accidentally took it off. So I guess the most important part to talk about, I guess the first thing to talk about is the difference between AppxPackage and AppxProvisionedPackage. So if you look at the white page of them, they're actually in different, groupings. AppxProvisionedPackage is in DISM, while AppxPackage is in just the package library. The main difference is AppxPackage is going to remove what is installed, and AppxProvisionedPackage is going to control what installs when a user logs in or what can reinstall. I don't know if we have any questions along those ones.
Dear Jordan and Colby, what is an AppxPackage and where can you use it? Sincerely, Lucas.
All right. Well, AppxPackage is just software that is included with the Windows 10 install, whether you like it or not. It has some useful things, like Edge, which you can't remove because it's critical, or the calculator is in there. And if you're not on an enterprise, things that you really don't want, like Candy Crush, anything from King.com, really. There's just a lot of... It's how Microsoft can give you quasi-useful applications and bloat. So I guess the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at how we can use inventory so we can track what AppxPackages your machines have, and so if you know if you want to remove them or not, or how to look at. And of course we're going to do that with PowerShell, which I rewrote here. So the first part we're doing, because we're using the PowerShell scanner in inventory, is the first one we're going to test to see if AppxPackage exists. If not, you're probably not on Windows 10, and this just gives you an error that you can control instead of just a random error. It makes it easier to know what's there. Apparently I put a little bit of snark in there because that's how I go.
As you do.
Yeah, as I do. All right, and then we're grabbing all of the AppxPackages on the machine. Then we're creating this whitelist here. Oop. There we go, highlighted. All right, and that's just machines that we don't want to know about because we want to keep them. Things like I have in there Calculator, Paint, .NET, the Windows Store. I think if you're on Enterprise, Store is a little bit more flexible, but if you're not on an Enterprise system, you're going to need to keep that there. I just included it just in case. All right, and then basically just going to go through for each one that it finds. It's going to give you the list of the software, the name of it, and where it's installed or where the install location is. And it's going to put that all into the table that it builds for you. So if we go to inventory, option scan profiles, it's a good thing I remembered how to do this. That'd be bad. All right, new one.
It's a good thing you know how to use your own product.
Well, it's no longer a sure thing. You do Appx, and then we're going to put the script here. I know I have the PS1 file written, but by putting it in here, it bothers Colby, and that's very important to me.
So. Both of those fields work just fine.
Yeah, both of them work, but one's more efficient. I know how you feel about efficiency. All right, so we have it in there. We have our script in there. Apparently I can't name it Appx, or I already have one named Appx. Oh, I did a video on this. Spoiler. AppxPackages. Oh, what are we doing here? Must be unique. Wow, apparently I've done a lot with Appx, or other people have. New name thing.
I would be surprised. That would have been something.
All right, and then we're using name the scanner a whole bunch of A's so I can find it easy because I'm lazy.
It's going to be an interesting...
All right, so now that we have the scanner built, we're going to come and scan the collection with a whole bunch of A's. And let's see what's running. I guess we'll pull up... I'm going to use Guinness because I was looking at other ones, and my previous work at removing AppxPackages has been very effective on our web domain. So I hope JJ's okay with me using Guinness for the examples on this one, because that's what we got.
Right. Yeah, see what happens.
All right, and then we go, it's running. You can see that's the install location and the name of it in there. So we have quite a few in there, Print 3D, Cortana, stuff like that. So that you can see there's a lot of AppxPackages. Some you need, some you don't. Part of the problem that I have with the AppxPackages that I've run into is the initial rollout. They weren't great. They were functional, but they were lacking a lot. Things like you could get packages for all users, but you couldn't remove for all users. And then I think in 1703 they made that change where the remove now works for all users. But if you build that for 1703 and run it, and it runs against 1607, it's going to fail, or it's only going to run against the one user. And there's just a whole bunch of things. Every new build or major release of Windows, they add fantastic new functionality, which is great. It is improving a lot. But unless your environment's all up to date, you have to build it for the lowest one right now, where you're going to run into a lot of problems. So I think if your environment's up to date and you've got all of the latest, or I think what the latest enterprise supported is 1709, you can build it based on that one. You're going to miss some functionality, but you'll be more consistent on that one. You just want to go with the lowest version of what's in your environment. All right. Absolutely. We have a question?
Dear Jordan, we have a hard time keeping things from reinstalling after a manual uninstall. OneDrive, for example. I've seen several suggestions for editing the default profile prior to imaging, but have had little success keeping all the changes. What is the best way to uninstall Appx for all potential users and prevent them from subsequently reinstalling themselves? Is there a better way to approach existing profiles to remove AppxPackages? Sincerely, Valerie B. I'm going to jump to another one that's related to this. How do you remove applications that want to reinstall after reboot? Example, Microsoft Solitaire collection. You can get AppxPackages and pipe to Remove-AppxPackage, but after a reboot, it comes back. Love you guys, Timothy F.
All right. My guess on this one is the provision package that we talked about earlier. If you have calculator, I just use that as an example because it's always on my mind. So if you have calculator installed, you remove it, but it's part of the provision package. The next time there's an update or you log back in, it's going to reinstall that one. So I guess for a test for Valerie and Timothy, on one of those machines, run Get-AppxProvisionedPackage -online, which online tells it to look at the local machine. I guess I can type it out on PowerShell so you can see that one. I gotta spell O-N.
Online.
Online. And online just tells it to look at the local machine. Basically, it's the instance that it's running on. Run that on one of those machines, and I bet you'll see names for software that you see coming back often that you don't want. In this case, if I remove Microsoft Earphone, it's gonna come right back for me. Yeah. So I guess the best way to handle this is, when you're first imaging the machine, you want to do the provision package then. That prevents it from the initial install. AppxPackage is more for if it's already there and you want to get rid of it. So provision package is more of an early action one, but I definitely give that one a shot. All right. I guess now that we have that one, should we go over removing some of our AppxPackages? This one, since this one's not going to be PowerShell Scanner, I moved the test for Windows 10. I'm just going to assume you're going to deploy this one. Has the same thing with whitelist. And then the only thing we added is this section right here, which is dependencies. So everything in our whitelist is going to pull up that application, and it's going to find out what's dependent on and add those to the whitelist as well. It's not going to make a grand difference overall. It's just going to remove some of the errors. When you run this Get-AppxPackage and then pipe that into remove and you get rid of everything, it's going to throw up a bunch of errors, and there's two reasons: either a dependency that you haven't removed yet, or it's flagged as not removable, which not removable, I believe, is an attribute they added in 1803 or later, so it's something you can't see beforehand. So this one will grab the dependencies, so you don't try to remove those, to remove some of the errors, and then it comes down to the same thing, only instead of creating the object for the list, it's actually going to go in and remove. And then I'm actually going to just put a what if, because I am a coward. All right, and this one will do the remove for all ones. In this case, as you can see here on line 33, I added the app.nonremovable. If you are on 1803 or later, that's going to work great, and it's going to remove all the errors for ones where it can't remove it anyway, which is kind of nice just for cleanliness sake. But if you're on an earlier version, that attribute does not exist, so you're going to want to get rid of that completely. Which I don't know what I'm on, but I'm just going to assume we don't have that one.
Jordan, there's nothing cowardly about safety first.
Safety first. But I just, I should.
If you're not sure what's going to happen, what if is your best option.
Well, I know it's going to happen. I just don't know what's going to happen after.
Yeah, the outcome is also important.
All right, so now that we have that one for the uninstall, you could either just send this out with PowerShell. You could also create just a package and deploy for that one. Let me go new package here. PowerShell. And we're just going to insert a script this time, just because I like to antagonize Colby to a point. I'm going to find the uninstall.
We're not sure where that point is yet.
Well, the point is driven by my lack of social awareness. So
He likes to poke the tiger with a stick.
uninstall. Let's see, Appx package. All right, but since I know I've done a good job of removing all of these, I guess one other point that is important to do when you do send this one, the remove, if you don't have all users set, or the get is going to grab on the credentials that you send as. So if you have your admin credentials and you send that out, it is going to add or remove the Appx packages based on that account. So whoever's logged in is not going to see the change, and all users will remove for everyone. But so it's important too, if you are going to send this one out, to change the run as to logged on user, and that way it's whoever's logged on at that time is going to get those removed. If you do have all users, I guess you don't have to worry about it. All right, and before I run this, I'm going to go into, so the Appx is, I don't know if we looked at the location, we had it there. Most of them are stored on the C drive, program files, and then Windows apps, which is a hidden folder. And as you'll see here, you don't have permission and you can't even grant yourself permission. They have it pretty locked down. Just for the sake of showing it, I'm going to go in and make myself the owner of that one real quick. Perhaps. All right. Set the through valve, and just we can go in and take a look at what's in there. It'll take just a few seconds. Do you have a question while it's pushing down?
Yeah, we can take one.
Dear friends, is there a painless way to remove apps before capturing a Windows 10 Pro image and that won't break things later? Sincerely, Scott.
Oh, well, this is going to sound a bit like a broken record, but this is probably, I don't know how soon with what you're using in your imaging you can run it, but the provision package running as soon as possible is going to prevent it for users logged in. Or if you could have the provision package as like a group policy where that will apply based on the compute machine. So before people logged in, it should remove them. And this, I mean, it all depends on when the policy applies and when you log in. But it's going to be some version of that anyway you can run provision package before it goes live.
I'm so glad that Scott finally acknowledged his real last name.
Yeah.
I know,
Let
right?
this thing last for a long time. All right. What I'm going to do while I'm in here is I'm going to copy Bing weather for an example when removing later. Because if I remove Bing weather, I'm going to want that back. So first we'll get that copy, and I'm going to try to keep my focus on something. How's that sound? All right, Appx, we're just going to copy it in there for now. All right, so we built the package. It's going to run the PowerShell on all the machines, but just to kind of highlight, we're going to come in and just run the part. So I'm going to come down to the dependencies and just run that with F8. And this is just so I can show you the white list. So we started off with this list here. But now if we come in and type in whitelist, you can see it added a .NET framework that's necessary. So we have added everything in there that is dependent. So we're going to remove some of our errors on that one. All right, and now because we have the what if and I know I'm safe, we'll see what this exactly would remove. And then I'll probably remove the what if. Yep, so you can see it's going to go through, it's removing all of these, and without scrolling through it, I trust my script, so I'm going to assume that everything listed in there is not on there. And then I have all users. on there. I'm going to take that one off because when it comes time to reinstall, which is the next part we're going to be working on, if you remove for all users, it is going to remove these folders in here. So you're not going to have the XML file that you need to install or the store. So it's a bit harder to rebuild. If it's uninstalled for one user, you can just come in here and let's actually create another package for this one. And this one we'll try live because that's never gone bad. All right, so we're going to var, and then so we're just getting the packages we want.
Colby, how do you feel about this?
Without tab complete.
It's fine.
All right, and then we're going to say I removed the calculator, and I had a $2 windfall, and I owe Colby half, and I can't do that kind of math. I need my calculator back. So we did calculator, and then we're going to specify all users. Boy, what I should have done is type this up in the script editor, so I know that my attributes were right. And then, let's see, and then I think we're pulling install location. And then we have to add after /appxmanifest.xml, which is the name of the file that it looks at. All right, so what this is going to do is just going to create a variable. It's going to grab the package for calculator for all users. So on Quinton, we'll say I uninstalled it, or why do we have to say it? I can just do it. Just because the names are long or complex, wildcards are your friend. You're never going to get the full thing when you're typing it out yourself. Just to make sure I got the right one. Don't want to remove the wrong thing. All right, so we got the calculator, and then we're going to pipe this into Remove-AppxPackage. AppxPackage, all right.
He's not even going to do a what if.
Nope, I'm removing calculator. So if we come here, I'm looking for my calculator. There is no calculator on this machine. Now, this is where I hope what I have here is correct. So we're going to come back into the package that we're building. The next line, now that we're creating the variable, where we're grabbing the full path, and I can just show you on this one. AppxPackage. Or I could have just done the up arrow to save a whole bunch of time. There we go. And then this time we're going to specify all users. And you can see that it can still find it in there because it still exists for other users. It's just gone from the one user. So if we remove all users, nothing. All right, so I am relatively confident that I can get this to work. All right, so what we're going to do is add-AppxPackage. Oh, there's no tab to complete. Boy, this is probably one of my worst ideas.
Oh, then you should totally do it.
All right, so we just came up with a feature request for our own product.
Register path. The path is the variable we just grabbed, and this is where I call it quits. I'm gonna.
Please don't. We got another 11 minutes.
Oh no! I'm calling it quits. I'm copying it over so I can make sure I've got the. We're disabling development mode. I'm just this. I'm removing me as a variable on this one.
I thought you were leaving the webcast.
Well, that is fun. All right. Now that we're in here, and I'm sure that I've got everything spelled correctly, we'll come back into the package and just copy that in there. Much better. Much better. Write your stuff in ISE. All right. Give it a name. We're going to install calculator. I assume I spelled that right. No time to check. All right, so now we're just going to deploy this against this machine here, and hopefully what we see is the calculator come back. Otherwise, Kelly's going to be grumpy at me because he does not like the calculator missing. And true story, the reason I use calculator for the example so many times is because the amount of times I have removed calculator from my machines. So it says successful. It runs that quick. We're going to come in here. We did it, guys. I have accomplished a task.
Yay!
You did a thing.
It's that kind of confidence that you can expect when you walk into a PDQ webcast. All right, but that's for if it's not removed for all users. If it is removed for all users, you run into a different kind of issue. where it's not going to be able to find from all users. That's also going to be blank. So that's why I copied over earlier the being weather. And I'll be honest, I'm going to remove this one because I don't care if it's gone or not. From all users, we're going to try to rebuild it, but this one's a little bit more dicey. There's a lot of variables. We have a good shot because I pulled it from the same machine, but if your dependencies changed based on different versions of software, you could have failures there. It's also got to be in the same file location or it's not considered in the package store and it's going to throw an error. So there's a few gotchas on this one, but we're going to... That's not it. Package name. What are we doing? We said Bing weather, right? Let's take a look at that. Well, we're off to a good start so far. All right, so that we saw it's already removed locally, but it's not removed on all users. So this time we're going to do the same thing with remove, only we're going to specify all users. And in this one it's going to work because we are past 1709, but remember, the changes to AppxPackages are not based on your PowerShell version. They are based on your Windows version. That's where the changes are happening, so that's why you get a lot of variation. If you're on all the latest builds, just, I guess, congratulations on your awesomeness. All users, and then we're going to run it without the what if because I'm bold that way. And there we got an error. AppxPackage. Interesting. Let's see. Cannot find the file specified. So, that file that it just found, apparently it can't find. So, I don't know what to do with this one. I guess we can just go forward as pretending I removed from all users and we can just show the reinstall if it is missing. On that one, I'm not sure where that one fell to uninstall. I'm as administrator. That's my biggest mistake. I never run as administrator. All right, so this one, overall it's got the same field, just the biggest thing is you have to copy over the files that you have removed with your Appx. So the first thing we're going to do a file copy. I'm going to do an entire folder. There we go. And then we're going to copy to, we have to put it in the same location. I've tried it a few times putting it on a folder I created randomly or on the desktop and I get an error saying it's not part of the package store. So I find for the best results you have to put it where the Windows apps are. So it's going to be C, what program files, Windows apps. Once again, I'm typing when I don't have to. In case you're wondering what it looks like to not learn, here I am, guys. All right, minimize that one. Much better, and I don't have a random space after the backslash, so it's going to work, he said, without that kind of expectation.
Oh, I noticed that. If you hadn't, it would have come up.
Yep. All right, so we're basically copying it into. We're just going to do overwrite because I'm bold, and like I said, if we can't get Bing weather to come back, I don't care. I don't want it in the first place. So that's going to copy everything over, and then the next line is still going to be PowerShell. Only instead of grabbing the path for the install location like we did before, we have to manually put it in there because we know where we're copying this one. So, see, I'm actually going to copy this off of a different machine. All right, so it is. See, this is me learning, guys. I already have it typed out here. I just need to change the path. Oh. This is me not learning, guys. Alright, so we got Windows apps, and then the name of the Bing weather that we had, which I've already forgot, so let's come in here and grab that. Sorry for all the silence while I concentrate. I guess while I'm finishing build this, do we have any other questions we want to ask?
Yeah, we can take one.
All right.
Dear Jordan and Colby, why should I use PDQ for this and not a curated Microsoft store? Sincerely, Ant H.
So even with the blog I wrote in this while ago, I went over how you can use our product, but a lot of the times the best case is group policy, best tool for the best job. It's just kind of built in as they log in. It does the removal for you so they never see it. And before they added the all users, so if you're past 1703 or 09, before they added all users, you wouldn't be able to remove it for everyone, only who's logged in. And that's where PDQ really helped. You could run it against the machine as who is logged in so you could see actual results of it removing. But if you're on later versions and you have all users, any PowerShell would work. I just think our product makes it a lot easier. It's pretty fantastic to use. All right, so now we're in there. We're just typing in appx manifest.xml. All right, so overall, it's the same thing. This is where I think Colby would like me to have a variable for the path instead of just typing it out the way I did, because he's all professional. But Colby's way over there, and he can't tell me what to do.
Parameters are very nice.
Yeah, so if you ever go into our bonus content and you look at the scripts and we have these, like, nice, it has parameters in there and all this other nice stuff that looks professional. No, Colby took my stuff and made it look professional. I can make it work, I can't make it pretty.
He Colbified it.
He Colbified it. Yeah, so anymore, I send it to Colby and I'm hoping one of these times he'll have me on the phone when he fixes all of my things so I can start doing that myself. And I'm not going to take initiative and learn on my own. I need to be drug across that line.
I'm not going to share my secrets.
All right, so, and this one, I'll be honest, when I was trying to get this to work at home, it ended with my daughter telling on me about me using grown-up words in the basement. So I'm hoping this works, but you're gonna have to bear with me if we run into some issues. The uninstall, once you've removed that XML, it's dicey, and it gets more dicey if you hop to different major installs of the Windows. But we'll give it a shot. And another important thing to point out, which I missed on this one, when you're doing the Add-AppxPackage, there still is no all users, so you are adding it for the whoever you're deploying that. So we're going to change this to logged on user, and hopefully we have some Bing weather coming our way, guys. It's going to take a little bit longer because it's got to copy over the files. It's about 30 megabytes. So do we have any other questions?
Dear Jordan and Colby, if I uninstall all Appx packages using a tool like VMware's OS optimization tool, how do I restore just one Appx package like Calculator for new logged-in users? Sincerely, Billy Z.
All right, well, Billy, I hope that I had more confidence than I had on that one this time. Because what we're showing here is basically how to do it. You're basically going to have to, on a machine that still has the calculator, you're going to want to find that folder under Windows Apps and copy that. You want the whole thing because the Appx manifest, the XML file is going to look in there. Use that, copy it over to the machine in the same folder structure, Windows Program Files, Windows Apps with the same folder name. And then you install it from there where you're pointing to that location. Just know that things change with it. So if you pull that from a 1903 or 2004 and a dependency is different, then you push in a 1709, it may still fail because the dependency is wrong. So you're just going to want to be aware where you pulled it from and make sure you install on a like machine. And I'm showing successful, guys. Let's take a look, shall we?
What?
The weather app's there. I did not get that to work once when I was building this out for the webcast. Like hours not getting that to work. So
it's amazing that it's working.
Yeah,
while
working
everyone's
live.
watching.
So
I was waiting to hear the grown-up words, but yeah.
It's like the reverse WB frog.
And I am very positive it's because the folder I grabbed is from the same machine I installed it on. That removes a lot of the variables. But to answer your question, the script we have there, I don't have one for the reinstall up in the bonus content, but if we would like that one, I'll add that one. And then you can just create the package. You want to do file copy to copy over all of the Appx information you need, the PowerShell to add it, which we'll have up in there, and then you want to run it as logged on user because there's no all users for that one, so we'll only install the calculator for whoever's logged on. Do we have any other questions? Or
Yeah, we sure do have some questions. Dear Jordan and Colby, what effect does having the store disabled have on using PDQ for Appx, Gene, the dancing machine C?
Well, I'm pretty sure the PowerShell commandlets that we're using work whether the store is enabled or not. I think the store is just what makes it easier to install applications that you're not looking for. I could be wrong on that. But as long as you're using PowerShell for the removal or the control, the store being enabled shouldn't be a big deal. I don't know if Colby has a different thought on that one, or
I don't have any experience with it, but I believe that's correct.
yeah. So the store is more going to help you out if you're looking to install. There may be an easy way for the calculator with the store that I didn't look into, but this way we're just trying to work it out without it. All right. Any other questions? Or all right.
Dear Jordan and Colby, gentlemen, I've had trouble deploying Microsoft sticky notes using PDQ. Get-AppxPackage with AllUsers requires running as admin, but I've only had luck running Add-AppxPackages as the currently logged in user. How can I combine the two in a single deploy package to easily get the full package name and deploy to the user? Thanks, Jesse D.
All right, and this unfortunately, as I just pointed out, the AllUsers recently got added to the remove, but it's still not for the add. So if you see I did add AppxPackage here, I think this one's a 1903. If you look in there in our list of available variables, there is no AllUsers on that one. So unfortunately, for now, if you're adding with PowerShell, you're only going to be able to add who's logged on. So if it's only for a specific user, it's the same thing, just add for that one, run as logged on user, and it should work. If you're looking to add it for everybody, you might want to check to see if there is a provisioned package for sticky notes. I don't know off the top of my head, but if there is, you could add the provisioned package to that machine, and then it should reinstall next time and be added for all new users that logged on. But that's, without diving into it, I don't know if sticky notes is a part of the provisioned package or not. All right.
Dear Jordan and Colby, how can I block users from installing hundreds of Microsoft Store apps? We are on Windows 10 Pro, not Enterprise. Blocking the MS Store seems to cause issues sooner or later. Thanks, Michael.
So the best bet without Enterprise, that means the group policies aren't going to, because there are some great group policies, those aren't going to work for that one. If you look at what I had for the uninstall, where I included the whitelist, you could have this to run as a either logon script from group policy or run semi-frequently. And that way, even if they add it, this is going to go through and remove all of those, but it's going to keep the ones that you want to keep. You just want to make sure your whitelist is very thorough. Or if something new comes along that you do want, you're going to want to add that as well. That's not ideal, but where if they have the access to use the store, the only thing I can think of is to have it remove on logon, or have, as you saw how quick it uninstalled when I ran that, just deploy semi-frequently and it should clear it for you.
Hey Jordan and Colby, what is the best way to manage AppxPackages? Remove the provisioned AppxPackages using DISM or using PDQ once they are installed? Sincerely, Jimmy, it's all good, man. McGill.
So, I mean, my personal opinion, the provision package early is going to catch and alleviate 90% of this. It gives you a lot more control and make sure the Appx that's going out is only the ones that you want. So if it's for me, I would want the provision package to happen during the imaging with DISM as soon as possible, and then using AppxPackage to do cleanup on things that missed or that show up later. All right, any other questions?
Hey guys, will removing AppxPackages for current users via PowerShell remove them for future users as well? Thanks, Jeff P.
It will not. That's once again, that goes back to the provision. If the provision package exists, anyone that logs onto that machine, or if they log back into that machine, it's going to reinstall that software. So you want to do provision to protect all future users, Appx for all current logged on users.
Hey Jordan and Colby, how about a script to remove all Appx on new machines and then install defined Appx from a server share pool to refresh all machines in our network? Thanks, Michael.
So the server share is kind of difficult. The Add-AppxPackage will instantly fail if it sees a file share or a network path. It wants it to be local within there. So I guess what you could do is you could do the remove all and then just have the files that you want and have something copy those back into Windows app and install those after the fact. Just know that that's going to have to be updated often. The next time there's a creators update that comes out, there's a good chance a lot of those will break. But yeah, unfortunately for the Add-AppxPackage, you can't use the network path to get those to install.
And our final question today, would you guys consider agented installs in the future to allow for full Windows upgrades remotely? Sincerely, David.
Boy, I don't know if I'm qualified to weigh in on any of this. I would say we have things we're working on to try to make it easier for remote. I don't know where we're at or the exact timeline on that, but it is definitely a possibility with things coming out in the future, but I can't weigh in on any of that.
We're looking at soon.
Yes.
I don't know if I can give dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, soon is a relative
It is.
term.
It is.
Yeah.
Less than a year, probably less than 6 months, if I may be so bold.
Ooh. All right. JJ was
If someone
so
wants
bold.
to throw down against me, then be my guest.
Then
But
no-
no one's speaking up, so
Yeah, normally with questions like that, Shane's here, and I just keep my mouth shut and let him.
let him take the brunt.
That's right. All right, you said that was the last question?
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully we had some good information for you here. Just remember, provision package to get things early, make it so it doesn't install new users. AppxPackage to make sure that it install or you can remove for the users that are there. And just, yeah, it's going to take some fine tuning, and just know every new version you're going to want to make sure that the script's still working in all the versions you have. For PDQ.com, I'm Jordan.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Jesse D. and Jimmy McGill, maybe. Winners of PDQ swag, please send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.